Welcome to 10 myths about entrepreneurship that are holding you back. Today, we're diving deep into the world of entrepreneurship, breaking down some of the biggest misconceptions that might be standing in your way. You've probably heard these myths before, maybe even believed them. But today, we're going to challenge these ideas, set the record straight, and show you how the reality of entrepreneurship is both more accessible and more interesting than these myths would have you believe. So let's jump into the first myth. 1. Entrepreneurs are born, not made. This one's a classic. People often assume that entrepreneurship is something you're born with. The idea is that some people are just natural entrepreneurs, born with all the skills they need. And a big part of where this myth comes from is how we talk about successful founders. People like Steve Jobs and Bill Gates get described as geniuses, making it sound like they were just born to be entrepreneurs. But the truth is, being an entrepreneur is about developing skills over time. Most successful business owners will tell you that they weren't born knowing how to negotiate or lead a team. They had to learn, often the hard way. Elon Musk didn't just know how to build rockets. He studied, he learned, he took calculated risks. Skills like resilience, problem solving, and networking, these are things that can be built. One great example? Sam Walton, the founder of Walmart. He didn't start his first successful store until he was 44. Sam didn't see himself as a born entrepreneur. He was just persistent, learning from trial and error, and keeping an eye out for opportunities. Number 2. You need a big idea to start for. Here's another big one. People think they need a groundbreaking idea to even consider starting a business. Maybe it's because so many startup success stories focus on the eureka moment when a founder supposedly gets a flash of genius that changes everything. But more often than not, real businesses are built on simple ideas, executed well. Most successful companies didn't start with a revolutionary concept. Instead, they solved common problems in new or better ways. Take Instagram as an example. Instagram wasn't the first photo sharing app, but it made sharing easy, added simple filters, and connected with users' needs. That simplicity turned it into a massive success. Airbnb is another great case. It didn't start with a vision of disrupting the hotel industry. The founders just wanted to rent out air mattresses in their apartment to make some extra cash. They saw a need and leaned into it. They didn't invent the concept of renting space. They just made it accessible and easy. 3. You need a lot of money to start. This one's easy to believe, especially with all the stories about startups raising millions in funding. When you see headline after headline about big funding rounds, it can feel like you need a pile of cash just to get started. But here's the thing. Plenty of successful businesses started with very little. Many entrepreneurs begin by bootstrapping, using creativity instead of capital to grow. A famous example is Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx. She started the company with just $5,000 of her own money. She didn't have investors or a big bank account. Instead, she focused on making a product people wanted and worked hard to get it noticed. Number 4. Entrepreneurs are high-risk takers. This myth paints a picture of entrepreneurs as thrill-seeking daredevils, willing to put it all on the line. But in reality, most successful entrepreneurs are careful risk managers. They're not out there gambling with everything they have. They're making calculated, well-thought-out moves. When Jeff Bezos started Amazon, he didn't just leap in blindly. He researched the potential of online retail, took calculated steps, and didn't expand too quickly. The myth of the high-risk entrepreneur might sound exciting, but real success usually comes from managing risks, not taking wild leaps. Number 5. You have to be young to succeed. Here's another common misconception. Entrepreneurship is for the young. It's true that tech stories often feature young founders straight out of college, and that can make it seem like there's an age limit on launching a business. But in reality, there's no age restriction on success in entrepreneurship. Experience, networks, and financial stability play a huge role. People over 40 often have an advantage because they bring experience and maturity to the table. Look at Reid Hoffman, who founded LinkedIn at 35. He was able to use his industry experience and connections to build a platform that met a real need. 6. You have to do everything yourself. This one's easy to believe, especially with all the stories of entrepreneurs wearing every hat in the early days. And while it's true that, at the beginning, you may need to do a bit of everything, trying to keep it all on your own shoulders isn't sustainable. Real growth happens when entrepreneurs learn to delegate. No one builds a successful company alone. Facebook, for example, didn't grow just because of Mark Zuckerberg. He brought in people like Sheryl Sandberg to manage operations, allowing him to focus on product and strategy. Building a team isn't just smart, it's essential. Failure means the end. Failure can feel final, especially in business. But in the world of entrepreneurship, failure is often part of the journey. The myth here is that failure means you're not cut out to be an entrepreneur, but most successful entrepreneurs fail multiple times before they succeed. Take Henry Ford. His first car company went bankrupt. Instead of seeing it as the end, he learned from it and went on to build Ford Motor Company. Failure isn't the end. It's often just a valuable lesson. Number 8. You must be a tech genius. In today's tech-driven world, it's easy to assume you have to be some kind of coding wizard to succeed. But the truth is, you don't have to be a tech genius to build a successful business. While technology is important, understanding customer needs and product-market fit are often even more critical. Look at Howard Schultz and Starbucks. Schultz wasn't a tech expert. He didn't invent coffee. What he understood was experience, creating a welcoming third place for people between work and home. His focus on customer experience, not tech, was what made Starbucks what it is today. Number 9. Once it's successful, you can relax. Many people believe that once a business hits a certain level of success, the hard part is over. But the truth is, success isn't a finish line. It's a constant process. Maintaining success requires ongoing adaptation because markets and customer expectations are always changing. Think about Blockbuster and Netflix. Blockbuster assumed they could relax as the top movie rental chain, but they didn't adapt to the streaming trend. Meanwhile, Netflix continuously evolved, going from DVDs to streaming to original content. Success is never a set-it-and-forget-it situation. 10. Entrepreneurs work 24/7. The hustle culture myth suggests that true entrepreneurs are working around the clock, sacrificing everything for their dream. And yes, entrepreneurship takes hard work, but burning out isn't a sustainable way to build a business. Success comes from working smart, not just working constantly. Tim Ferriss, author of The 4-Hour Workweek, built his career on prioritizing efficiency and time management. He's proven that success can come from focusing on what really matters, not just putting in endless hours. Wrapping it up. These myths about entrepreneurship can create unrealistic expectations. Believing these myths can hold you back, keeping you from seeing the true path to building a successful business. Today, we've seen that entrepreneurship isn't about being born with a skill set, taking wild risks, or working 24/7. It's about resilience, smart decision-making, and continuous learning. So, whether you're just starting out or thinking about taking the leap, remember, don't let these myths define your journey. Entrepreneurship is for anyone willing to put in the effort, learn from mistakes, and stay adaptable. Thanks for listening. Keep pushing forward, and don't let anything hold you back.